This is SK1D's Gary Heidnick, late 90s killer in America. I think that the film clip is incredible. I've always wanted to catch a killer, and I have two. I've caught two. Next step is to go somewhere it's safe to report in full. With season 2, the name will probably change from Deterioration to something else, because I feel that the process, in addition to some more of the finer arts that have been released in the corresponding time, have assisted me in something of a recovery-ish. If you want to know who I think has the biggest balls in Canberra, I'd say the psych education department of my college. I won't name teachers' names in case they end up mysteriously dead while Gary Cairns is on a holiday, and Roger Toll's tied up in business meetings at the same time. Because, you know, correlation doesn't equal proof of causation. So a lot of what can go on. Everybody's subjectivity is different, and this is not disputed in any domain of any kind of scientific anything, or any even philosophical discussion groups concerning human mind. So imagine that you were parents with a little girl that had nightmares, and you were Christian parents. You'd taught her, she'd gotten over the boogeyman, but you had taught her, she knows there's a God and a devil. And the parents get frustrated because she keeps screaming at night, waking up having horrible nightmares, thinking she's being pursued, thinking people are, she's been chased after, she's in danger. And because conversationally the boogeyman and the stories of the boogeyman were resolved to the parents' satisfaction, the Christian parents' satisfaction, their next step now is Mr. Psychologist, Psychiatrist, who one moment. Yeah, as a pharmacy assistant with a nasal cyst to prove it, and dispensary technician of 7 years, pharmacy assistant of about 10 years. Glad I didn't make it to the 10-year, to the date, or they'd have to give me a more embroidered, well, the name badge is more dignified, perhaps. So yeah, this scenario arises where the kid's parents are tearing at their hair, praying for their daughter every night. They've explained to her that the boogeyman isn't real, and she understands that. And she also understands from them that if she prays, God can make the devil go away and shut the devil down. The child may be coming to terms with the logistics. You know, if they say God can do anything, He's all powerful, and He loves everyone. She might have been thrown into on a number of levels, introspectively so, concerning why God, who loved her, allowed the boogeyman to bother her in the first place. Two, whether her parents are lying to her, but she can't contradict them. And so three, then the parents will take her to a psychiatrist, and often, and he's, you know, a good God-fearing religious man. They'll check. It's one of their points of checks for approval when they're trying to seek medical attention. And invariably, the psychiatrist will say, well, to these parents, unfortunately, your daughter has such and such a delusionary complex. And sell some more big pharma, big dollar sand, encapsulated sand, straight from the queen's vagina, put into enteric coated capsules on a slow release mechanism. And they'll give her sand a migraine every night and say, take this, it should stop. And you know, and it doesn't stop. What I'm trying to say is this is one way that religion does function like is pernicious, because it doesn't get addressed there, just in this scenario, as completely allowing and facilitatory of a problem like the sequel to the boogeyman, and the parents being devoutly religious and the doctor being devoutly religious, don't think of a single fucking thing to say to the kid, or ask the kid, you know, do you think God's not looking after you properly? You know, would a religious parent ask that? Would they be comfortable with what they hear if they did? For me, I think Steven Pinker is someone I like. If you want to be a psychiatrist, I was made to deal with some psychiatrists thanks to the efforts of Roger Toll and Gary Cairns. They're two former employers and legal contestants in, at this point I'll say, not just Australia. But if it won't work out well for either them or me if their idea of being a psychiatrist is have a quick vindaloo quickly before seeing Luke, Dr. Rodrigo, pray to your God, and don't forget Freud. You know, if the constituency of an education and training background in psychiatry is Freud and a Bible, then yeah, good luck. It won't be me analyzing them, which is not me bragging, but there have been a lot of advancements in this field that I suppose it's been assumed. You know, it's funny when you talk to legal aid relating to the Mental Health Act, because if you approach them with the question, are you trying to say that because of the Mental Health Act, the statutes of the Human Rights Act no longer apply to me? They pause at that point. And it's commonsensical. I think that's one thing that's missed, is that, you know, I asked them a very stupid question, but they were treating me in a very stupid way. So not only that, but you know, a conflict of interest. If you're taught your every chance for promotion, your every chance for advancement in this field is to support all the what are they called if there are other businesses and you have a handshake with them? Support all the people that we support, all the agencies we support, our affiliates, and support all our interests. And if you do that, then you might impress us enough and you might advance in your career. Then it becomes fucked up because you're being detained out of psych ward and drugged against your consent and against the proper function of your cardiovascular system, with substances, the side effects of which you are not pre-informed about, which tells you that really this new psych ward is more like it's more like a church. It reminds me of my old church, but more pathetic, because when you're going on about souls, even by your own admission, the apologists are being non-empirical. They're not talking about energy and matter. So if you want one thing that's more pathetic than a bunch of squabblers pecking at the potential corpses of other people's heads, that's more pathetic than a church where nothing being dealt with is, it's on the matter of your soul, not the, not energy equals mass times the square of the speed of light. Then that which is more pathetic is the mental health facility at the Canberra Hospital. Fortunately, there are some doctors there that I would say are respectful. But in school, so I was very bad at oral presentations. They were my downfall. I could not give oral presentations in class and failed all of them very consistently. I was awarded the greatest time waster in the entirety of Lake Tuggeranong College, and the pretty nice girl in the school was always in the classroom audience when I was trying to be like, all right, now this time I'll do the presentation. And I look up from my paper and I start talking gibberish. So, what if someone who was not good at oral presentations I had to push myself and talk to a panel team of 6 psychiatrists. After that, they said, you can leave. But if someone who didn't have that capacity, and wasn't insane either, then by my best assessment, their detention would continue. Because, the busy schedules of the assessment group. So, yeah. I see it as a terrible thing. I'd like to know what the debates were, because it used to be that if you were... See, now you cannot mentally... You can't admit yourself. Suppose you needed sucker respite or some form of... You wanted services from... relating to your mental health. You used to be able to go and talk to the psych team if you wanted to. I didn't at the time, but the option was there, and now I was told there is no such thing as a voluntary admittance anymore. So yeah, I've said it a number of times before. This it is so. I think it is stupid. We live in a time where people think it is truly more plausible that UFOs are here, that the government's lying to you about it. Now, I'm not opposed to people thinking that governments would lie to them, but the sheer ridiculousness. We're still asking if there's life on Earth. You've got the masses thinking that UFOs are here, and that they're probing people and abducting them. And it's funny, the policeman in this interview goes, it seems like the abductions don't seem to ever happen during work hours. Whoa, fuck. The UFOs respect our workers' rights. You know, that you think that it is more plausible, or you may think it's more plausible that UFOs are already here than that someone who takes ecstasy with someone who works for Channel fucking 10 or whatever has bugged and spied on you. I think that's really pathetic. Yeah. At least the Egyptians knew how to get along with cats. I like that they like cats. Yeah, so, you know, what does it tell you if you can't voluntarily admit yourself to to mental health services? It means you have to be taken there. Okay, so people at random having their homes stormed, being thrown into paddy wagons, and taken to be detained at mental health facilities. No, it doesn't look like it. Oh, then they'd have to pick the ones, the ones that they want to take. Oh, how are they going to do that? Well, the way they do that is someone, one of their affiliates is sleeping with a UFO and giving them hand jobs in exchange for information about who best requires under the statutes of Hippocrates and the principles of the founding father of medicine, the Hippocratic Oath. And these are people who, they suck the glee box, which is the term that the UFOs use for their genitals. Anyway, they'll suck them off for a while to get info, and then the UFOs will go, well, okay, our probes have detected that there are persons in need of mental health interventions and involuntary detentions at the following addresses. So these people, Cassandra Smith, people like her, take ecstasy and speed, suck the UFOs, get the information, and then do the country a service by getting this information from the UFOs and passing it on to the police so that they know which homes to go to. And that's called it's called the new ACTUFO AFP PTO Homeland Security Act of Reichstag, suck the sweat off my ballsack Act of 2020. And now I better go. You bore me.